There are three different formats that we're going to use when we represent lines in three-dimensional space. The first two we've already discussed. So we have the vector function of a line, where when we are given this initial point P that gives us a position or a start place on the line, and a direction vector which essentially gives us the direction that the line is headed, then we can take that point P, turn it into a position vector, right? My initial position vector would be x naught, y naught, z naught, essentially getting a vector pointing to that point on the line. And then take our direction vector, which again is ABC, and add these two vectors together, essentially the position vector added to a scalar multiple of that direction vector. Then we can use this shorthand notation here. We can also turn the initial position vector into ordered triple pointy bracket notation and the direction vector, but these two are essentially the same thing. One other way that we can express the vector function version of our line is to actually add these two vectors together, giving us x naught plus t times a as the x component, y naught plus t times b as the y component, and z naught plus t times c as the z component, and have one complete vector instead of two vectors that are being added together. And when we write it like this, we're actually able to more easily see the parametric equations that are our next version. We get the x parametric equation directly from the x component of the vector function. That x parametric equation can be written just with x, or it can be written as x being a function of t. Both of them are true. We get the different values of the x coordinates by plugging in different values of that independent variable, which is that parameter. Again, we get the y component of our vector function to be the y parametric equation that can be written using functional notation or not. And our z component of our vector function is the z parametric equation. And again, z can be written as just z is equal to this equation, or z as a function of t. So again, using functional notation or not using functional notation, it doesn't matter. All of these parametric equations do depend on t as the independent variable. Now, the third version of writing the equation of a line is what we call symmetric equations. And in order to determine what the symmetric equations are, we're going to use the parametric equations as a jump-off point. What we do from the parametric equations is we're essentially going to solve each one of these for t, and that's going to give us the symmetric equation version of our line. So in this particular case, we're going to solve for t by first subtracting x naught from both sides to get at here, and then divide both sides by a. We have solved for t, which is going to be x minus x naught over a. If we solve for t in this particular equation, we're going to get y minus y naught divided by b. If we solve for t right here, we're going to get z minus z naught divided by c. All of these are equal to t. And these values are going to be called the symmetric equation. So we basically just take this bit, and this bit. All of them are equal to t and therefore equal to each other. So this is how we would write the symmetric equations of a line. Notice that the initial point being x naught, y naught, z naught is still showing up in these symmetric equations. It's going to be located in this position right here. And as well, the direction vector is also showing up in the symmetric equations. The direction vectors are the denominators of those symmetric equations. So we can see and pluck out that information if we are given the symmetric equations. Here's our direction vector here in the denominator, and then here's our ordered triple that is the point through which we pass. Now, one other thing we do need to notice is that what if one of our components of the direction vector turned out to be 0? That, of course, is totally possible to have one of the components of the vector. I'm actually going to assume that A was 0 here. So if our A component is equal to 0, we'd have a problem in our symmetric equations. We would have 0 in the denominator, and we definitely can't have that. So if the direction vector has one of the components that's equal to 0, we essentially go back to the parametric equation representation of that component and say that parametrically x was equal to x naught plus at, but if a was 0, or the component of my direction vector is 0, we go back to just being x is equal to x naught parametrically, and we would simply copy paste that version of the parametric equation into the symmetric equation. So in this case, for our symmetric equations, we would have x minus x naught and then y minus y naught over the b component that is not 0, and that's going to be equal to z minus z naught over the c component. So we simply just tack this little extra bit on to our regular version of the symmetric equations. So let's look at a quick example to find all three versions of the equation of a line that passes through the points P and Q. And as you'll recall, in order to write the equation of a line in three-dimensional space, we need two pieces of information. Number one is any point on the line. We need any order triple. And number two, we need a direction vector. And we basically have plenty of information to find both of those things. Any point. Well, let's just say we're going to use the P point. We got to pick one of these. So we'll say 6, 1, negative 3 will be the point that we choose. Now, we need also a direction vector, and what we have are 2 points. We can have our direction vector going from P to Q, and that's totally fine. That's still going to give me a vector in the direction of our line. Or we could have our direction vector going in the other direction from Q to P, and we're still going to end up with a v vector that's in the direction of that line. So it really doesn't matter which one is our initial point and which one is our terminal point. I'm actually going to go from P to Q. I'm going to let my direction vector be the vector from P to Q. And as you'll remember, we are going to come up with our vector from P to Q by looking at the terminal points of the order triple Q minus the initial points of our point P. So vector PQ, terminal minus initial. So we're going to look at the terminal x coordinate, which is 2, and then minus the initial x coordinate, which is 6. So that's going to give me my x component of my direction vector. And then we'll look to the terminal point of Q, the terminal y coordinate is 4, minus the initial y coordinate is 1. Terminal z coordinate 5 minus initial z coordinate is negative 3, so that's going to be 5 plus 3. And this PQ vector that is going to be used as our direction vector is going to be negative 4, 3, and 8. So now we have our direction vector that we're going to use along with our point P. Now, the first thing that we want to do is go through the vector function version. From the vector function, we can then get the parametric equations, and from the parametric equations, we can get the symmetric equations. So we really do want to kind of go in this order. You know, that's the way that I'm going to do it in this example. So our vector function, as you'll recall, is going to be of the form where we have an initial point turned into a position vector plus a scalar multiple that is our parameter of the direction vector. So our vector function is going to be the initial point turned into a vector is 6, 1, negative 3 plus parameter t times direction vector negative 4, 3, 8. Again, we can expand this, which is going to make the parametric equations a little bit easier to see. So let's go ahead and at the same time we'll distribute the t in, but also add these two vectors together. So our components are going to be 6 minus 4t is the x component of our vector function. 1 plus 3t is the y component, and negative 3 plus 8t is the z component. And here is what we will be calling the vector function of the equation of our line. Now, we're going to use that to determine the parametric equations. The parametric equations are simply going to take each of these components and use them as the equation to give us the x coordinates, the y coordinates, going to be coming from here, and the z coordinates that are going to put us on the line. So z is equal to negative 3 plus 8t. And these are our parametric equations. And as we mentioned a moment ago, the symmetric equations are going to be determined by taking each of these parametric equations and solving them for t. And then since they're all going to be solved for t, we're basically going to set each of them equal to each other. So this first equation solved for t is going to be x minus 6 divided by negative 4. That's going to be equal to the y equation solved for t, which is going to be y minus 1 over 3. And the z coordinate, or the z equation solved for t, is going to be z plus 3 divided by 8. And we usually don't write this little t equals to right here. We usually just write these three equations that are equal to each other. Yes, all of them are equal to t, but that just means that they're all equal to each other as well. And so we would then call these the symmetric equations for our line.